Imagine a country with no Starbucks, where people can send letters to God, and where medical clowns help kids in hospitals. They even have kosher McDonald's. Israel is a place where ancient traditions mix with modern life, and there's always something unexpected around the corner. It's really different from what you might think. This is life in Israel. There is no Starbucks. Israel is a country where Starbucks failed. When you walk around the streets of Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, you won't find even one Starbucks. The Giant franchise came to Israel in 2001, and within a year, it was clear that it failed to raise any interest. The company shut down its Israel franchise in 2003. According to some reports, experts have already advised Starbucks to stay away from Israel, as the taste of American coffee will be unacceptable to Israelis. The country's proximity to Turkey and Italy made it clear that they prefer stronger coffee at a much more reasonable price. Israel is widely regarded as one of the most advanced military powers in the world. And it's not just about numbers, it's about cutting-edge technology and innovative strategies that give them a unique edge. The country has made incredible strides in military technology, particularly in the realms of AI-powered defense systems and advanced missile defense technology. While Israel has not yet unveiled any hypersonic jet fighters, the country is heavily invested in the development of hypersonic missile technologies. Israel's military-industrial complex has been exploring hypersonic capabilities for several years, working on hypersonic weapons, such as missiles that can travel at speeds over Mach 5, 5 times the speed of sound. These technologies are being developed to ensure Israel maintains an edge in defense systems and to counter potential threats from adversaries. Israel's AI-driven defense systems are already among the most advanced in the world. The Iron Dome, David Sling, and Arrow missile defense systems utilize AI to predict and intercept threats with incredible precision. These technologies allow Israel to defend against missile attacks, including those from high-speed projectiles that are becoming more common in modern warfare. While hypersonic jets are not currently in Israel's arsenal, the Israeli Air Force has some of the most advanced air fleets in the world, including the F-35 Lightning II, which is equipped with stealth technology and cutting-edge avionics. There have been reports suggesting that Israel is also working on future aircraft that may incorporate hypersonic technology and AI integration, positioning the country to stay ahead of technological developments in global air combat. The potential future of hypersonic jet fighters in Israel's military strategy could see AI-powered jets that are not only faster but also highly autonomous, capable of making real-time decisions, evading enemy radar, and adapting to the rapidly changing conditions of modern warfare. Mandatory military service. Israel has a mandatory military service, or conscription, for Israelis who turn 18. Men will need to serve for 32 months, while women serve for 24 months. That's right, it turns out the star of Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, also served in the Israel Defense Force before becoming a world-renowned actress. Two groups are exempt from this duty though: ultra-Orthodox Jews and Arab Israelis. The trend of evading conscription has increased among Israelis. According to the army, a third of Israeli males and 44% of females avoid being drafted. Most of these youths used mental health as their reason. Allegedly, they pretended to be suffering from mental disabilities by flunking their medical examinations. To counteract this, the army personnel had stressed exemptions based on mental health should be made on professional and responsible basis. What made the situation worse was the fact that 15% of Israeli youths also deserted their post during their service. It was said that one particular intelligence battalion suffered from a huge shortage, which made them unable to step into battles. You can be banned for underweight. Israel is the first country to ban underweight models from catwalks and print advertisements. According to this law, women and men can't be hired unless a doctor says they are not underweight with a BMI higher than 18.5. These models will have to produce a medical report dating back to 3 months at the start of any job in Israel. It also prevents the use of a model who looks underweight in a photo by computer editing. They say that this can help people to have better body positivity, whether they're models or customers. Second, Silicon Valley. Do you think Silicon Valley is impressive? Then you should visit Israel, the startup nation. The country earned its nickname due to the high number of startups compared to its population. It has the largest number of startups per capita in the world and the highest venture capital investments per capita. Some of the innovations are USB drives, voicemail, drip irrigation, pill cameras, wearable robotics, and instant messaging. Israel is a strong contributor to the tech world. One of the reasons they're so successful is their human capital. Israel has some of the most educated people in the world, and they have a high R&D expenditure that supports every innovative endeavor. They revive dead language. Israel is the only country that managed to successfully revive a dead language and make it into their national language. Before Hebrew was revived, it was mainly used in rituals and prayers. One man who is often associated with the revival of Hebrew is Ben Yehuda. He wanted to unite Jews with one language. Ben Yehuda and his wife implemented a Hebrew-only household, where they only spoke in Hebrew to their son. He even prevented his young son from playing with other children to avoid corruption. By 1890, Ben Yehuda created the Va'ad Halashon, which is known as the Academy of the Hebrew language today. The language was spreading through schools and homes until it finally became an everyday communication too. Ben Yehuda was a vital person in this revival, but so were several people who supported and continued his legacy after he died. You can send letters to a god. Do you ever want to pour your heart out to God? Then you can join the millions of people who sent their letters to God to Israel's postal service. The letters are sent from all over the world and will be placed on the Western Wall, the space between the stones of the Kotel in the Old City of Jerusalem. This tradition was thought to have started 300 years ago. According to the story, a rabbi has fallen ill and asked his student to go and take his letter to God instead. The spot is one of the holiest sites in Judaism, and millions of people also visit to stuff the letters themselves. Usually, the Western Wall government employees will clean the wall ahead of religious holidays such as Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. This is to make sure there's enough space to stuff the abundance of letters that will pour during the holidays. Medical clowns exist. They say that laughter cures illness, and that's exactly why Israel is a leader in medical clowning. Medical clowns are specifically trained to work in the healthcare field. They can achieve closeness with patients in a way that nurses and doctors can't emulate, especially with younger patients. They often help children conquer their fear and gain control in a scary circumstance, which makes them forget about their illness for a little while. Medical clowns build a relationship with patients and connect with their needs and emotions. According to a new study in Israel, these clowns don't just make patients happy, they also help them stick to their medical treatments. During tense moments in the hospital, they can also act as a mediator between the health professional and patients, bridging the two sides. Previously, doctors viewed medical clowns as a nuisance or disruption. Hopefully, they'll be more appreciated after this finding. McDonald's restaurants are kosher. If Starbucks failed to gain traction in Israel, another giant franchise was successful thanks to its agility to modify its products for the Israeli market. They have kosher McDonald's restaurants in Israel, and you can pick from 62 outlets spread across the country. These restaurants are so unique compared to other countries. The burgers are cooked over charcoal instead of frying, and the signage has a blue background to signify their kosher products. The Ministry of Health added red stickers for food with high fat, sodium, and sugar. and most health-conscious Israelis will avoid them. That's why Israel McDonald's also serves healthy food, like a green salad, chicken breast, or fish fillet. The largest sock mosaic. Israel has the largest sock mosaic in the city of Netanya, using 12,000 socks in total. The initial idea was created by two local artists, Anat and Ehud Shammai. They wanted to come up with something where lots of people can be involved and to use a material that's already available in every household. It's a cooperation with the Italian city of Verona, which is considered to be the mosaic capital of the world. Crossroads of three continents. Israel is a country that stands at the crossroads of three continents: Asia, Europe, and Africa. Geographically, the country belongs to Asia and is part of the Middle East region. For centuries, it has become an important trade route, connecting one part of the world to the other. Less allergic country. Babies in Israel are 10 times less likely to be allergic to peanuts than in other Western countries. The reason behind this is even more baffling, because they eat bamba, an iconic peanut-flavored snack that's popular among children in Israel. In Israel, peanut-based foods are offered when infants are as young as 7 months old. On the other hand, UK infants will not consume peanuts in their first year of life. This fact helped prove that keeping children away from peanuts will make them more susceptible to allergies as they grow older, while exposure might help them. Israel recycles 90% of its wastewater, making it one of the leading nations for water recycling. Just for comparison, the USA only recycles 1% of its wastewater. Previously, Israel faced water scarcity, which is why the nation wants to be as efficient as possible when it comes to water. This wastewater is used primarily for irrigation, but it also goes to environmental uses, such as increasing river flow and firefighting. Since the early 2000s, the county has invested over $750 million in water reclamation projects and has 67 wastewater treatment facilities. They believe that this move will protect the country from drought and support economic growth in the long run. Unique wooden ladder. There's a wooden ladder that has been standing against a window at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre since the 1800s. It's an odd view among the beautiful ancient buildings. The ladder is a simple wooden one with 5 rungs and has never been moved. This church is a disputed spot where 6 churches, Greek Orthodox, Armenian Apostolic, Roman Catholic, Coptic, Ethiopian Orthodox, and Syriac Orthodox, own access and management to the site simultaneously. They were constantly fighting over how things should be arranged until Sultan Abdülmecid Wartas issued an edict that froze all religious arrangements in the Holy Land's sacred sites. This meant that everything had to stay in place, including the wooden ladder that was propped up on the church's window. Riding a bike on a highway. Do you want to experience riding a bike on a highway? Then visit Israel during Yom Kippur. It's one of the holiest days of the Jewish year, which means a day of atonement. Although driving cars is technically legal during the holiday, most Israelis prefer to respect the tradition and abstain from driving unless it's an emergency. That's why Yom Kippur is the only day of the year when it's safe to play and bike around major highways without worrying about traffic. Most of these riders are children, but adults have also joined in the fun. It became an accidental Israeli tradition that continues to grow in popularity. Israel is the most efficient dairy producers. Cows in Israel produce around twice as much milk per cow compared to other countries in the world, making them the most efficient dairy producers in the world. For comparison, an average cow in Israel can produce 12,000 liters of milk per year, while an Australian cow produces 5,500 liters of milk per year. What makes a difference is Israel's high-tech dairy industry. Because the cows can't graze due to Israel's dry land, the farmers use detailed feed analysis to make sure they're healthy and produce optimum milk. They also have a farm cooling system to keep all cows healthy all year long without suffering from heat stroke during scorching hot summers. All cows even have their insurance. Unique Dead Sea. Israel is also home to half of the Dead Sea, the lowest land-based elevation on Earth at 427 meters below sea level. The country shares a body of water with Jordan and Palestine on the southern half of its western shore. When you visit, you'll find crystal clear waters, panoramic views, and people floating. If you're wondering how the Dead Sea got its name, it's because their salinity content is so high that no aquatic life forms and ecosystem can live inside its waters. The salt content is about 33%, which is 10 times saltier than an average body of water. Their high salinity is also the reason why your body will naturally float when you go inside the Dead Sea. Another use of its mineral-rich waters is for healing skin issues. One particularly sad fact is that this unique place is that the Dead Sea is dying, as the body of water is shrinking at an alarming rate due to global warming. Israel has the largest underground hospital. Israel has the largest underground hospital in the world, called the Rambam Healthcare Campus. When the Second Lebanon War happened in 2006, buildings were shaking from missiles falling. To avoid this from happening again, the hospital management team decided to create an underground hospital. The underground hospital was also used as the largest COVID-19 treatment center in Israel during the recent pandemic. Located 16.5 meters below the surface, the treatment center has 770 beds, an emergency room, operating rooms, intensive units, a pediatrics area, a delivery room, and a dialysis area. Hummus love. If there's one thing that Israelis universally love, it's hummus. A recent survey found that 93% of Israelis eat hummus every week. The mashed chickpea dish is served almost at every mealtime: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There are three main ways to eat hummus in Israel. The first one is by enjoying a big plate of hummus with some bread in hummusia, or an eatery that specializes in hummus only. Yes, they have those. The second one is to enjoy it as a filling, and the third is to use it as a dip. Israel has more trees today than it did 50 years ago. Israel is the only country in the world that has more trees today than it did 50 years ago. While other countries are cutting down their rainforests to make way for industrialization, this nation is changing its desert to bloom. Previously, only 2% of Israel was covered by trees. The number has grown to around 8.5% in recent years, almost 4 times the initial landmass. The forests serve many purposes, such as fruit production, grazing, and habitat for animals, and carbon absorption. Israel has more than 200 museums. With over 200 museums, Israel has the highest number of museums per capita in the world. Most of these museums are unique and something that you can never experience in other places in the world. For example, the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is a collection of millennia-old scrolls from ancient Jewish and Hebrew religious manuscripts discovered in the caves of the Dead Sea region. Another unique museum is the Underground Prisoners Museum, where they commemorate hundreds of Israeli prisoners who resisted the British. If you want to, you can even have an escape room experience where 2 prisoners dug a hole allowing them to escape and join the fight for independence in 1948. Another must-see one is the Hermit House Museum, where a modern Israeli caveman constructed his home by hand out of debris washed ashore, such as beer bottles, sea glass, and plates. Israel also has the world's first underwater museum, where divers can view the sights of an underwater historical port town. Performs more IVF per capita. Israel performs more IVF per capita than any other country in the world. The country is known as a pronatalist country, where they encourage their people to reproduce. This might be because Israel is the first country that subsidizes unlimited IVF treatments for all women until they're over 45 or have at least 2 children. Judaism, the main religion in Israel, doesn't imbue an embryo outside the womb to personhood, unlike Christian beliefs. This makes IVF much easier to choose, and doesn't impose ethical issues compared to countries with American and European countries. Mount of Olives. Mount Olives in Israel is the oldest continuously used Jewish cemetery in the world, and it's been in operation for 3,000 years. Jewish people believe that the resurrection of the dead will start with the people buried in Mount Olives first. Due to this belief, there's a tradition within the Jewish community where family members send the soil of Mount Olives Cemetery abroad to be scattered on the graves of loved ones. This ensures that they will also be resurrected when the Messiah returns. Israel is a country that managed to make use of their arid land and create a nation of resilience. With innovation and intellect, there's no doubt the country will always be one to watch.